Right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Burnell Hall. I am the president and CEO of Invest Newark, the City of Newark's Economic Development Corporation. I'm very excited to present to you, along with my colleagues, Invest Newark's Marketing Monday, the latest in our series of marketing programs to help Newark-based businesses expand and grow in such a way in which we continue to promote equitable economic growth throughout the city of Newark and beyond. We have a special guest today, David Gould from Harris Blitzer Sports. They are great partners of ours, and we're very excited to have David participate in our Marketing Monday series and talk about a great program for African American based businesses here in Newark. Prior to having Vanessa Quijano, our Senior Vice President of Business Development, introduce David, I want to just really commend Vanessa and her team on the great work that they've done to expand the business training and development and certification programs that Invest Newark has to offer over the past year. I know many of you are already aware of the programs, but I really want to encourage you to continue to sign up for our programs, whether it be our Language of Capital series, our MWBE certification events, and or our Marketing Mondays and Financial Fridays events. As you can see, we have very special guests who have a lot to offer in the way of both knowledge and resources to your businesses. And I also encourage people who have not done so already, please consider signing up your business to Invest Newark's business directory. It is not only a way to market your business freely, but it's also a way for us to stay in constant communication with you all as business owners and entrepreneurs about upcoming events such as this one. And then lastly, I want to promote our Procurement Portal, which is a centralized location where we are posting many contracts. I believe the number is over 100 business contract opportunities, mostly from our anchor large corporation community, as well as other government agencies, for Newark-based businesses to compete for contracts without actually having to spend a ton of money on marketing. So we continue to work very diligently to create an environment for growth for our Newark-based businesses, but we know we don't have all the answers. So if by any chance you have great ideas for things that we could be doing and programs that we could offer that we are not already offering, please feel free to reach out to us. Reach out to Vanessa or Francisco or Franklin Alvarez or other people on her business development team for new ideas as we continue to help you grow and achieve your goals as an entrepreneur and business owner. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Vanessa Quijano, Senior Vice President of Business Development for Invest Newark. Vanessa?
Thank you, Burnell. As Burnell mentioned, I'm the SVP of Business Development here at Invest Newark, and I just want to emphasize how we provide access to knowledge. So, for example, like today's Marketing Mondays, we'll also be continuing our Walking into Destiny program for women entrepreneurs, our Streetwise MBA program for growing businesses, and also we'll be starting two new sessions, different series this year, one specifically on the legal needs for your business. So we look forward to serving you, the businesses here in Newark. Also, business opportunities, as Burnell mentioned, our Procurement Portal and our Business Directory are two great platforms for you to market your business, but also look for opportunities. So you can look for that all at investnewark.org. With that, I'd like to introduce our speaker for today. David Gould is Chief Diversity and Impact Officer at Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment, HBSE. So HBSE is an organization with the mission of building passionate, high-performing teams that inspire people to enhance the communities where their teams live, work, play, and win. So fortunately here in Newark, we have the New Jersey Devils. David is responsible for implementing a more inclusive and diverse work environment across all HBSE properties through recruitment, retention, and professional development programs. He will also work with team marketing and community relations to promote positive educational, healthcare, and employment outcomes for local communities. He will guide leaders in establishing and maintaining business practices that will invest in, support, and grow minority-owned businesses. Lastly, David will be responsible for building relationships with community leaders to drive change and make an impact on the communities in which HBSE businesses operate. David boasts a 10-year career working with and serving Black and Brown communities in the public sector. His work has primarily focused on community philanthropy, city government, and community-based work. Prior to joining HBSE, Gould served as the Deputy Director for Community Engagement and Communications for Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney's Rebuild initiative. Rebuild also leveraged its construction projects as opportunities to grow small, diverse businesses and connect women and people of color with careers in construction. Prior to working for the city of Philadelphia, Gould was a program officer at the William Penn Foundation, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to help improve education for low-income children, ensure a sustainable environment, foster creative communities that enhance civic life, and advance philanthropy in the greater Philadelphia region. Without further ado, David Gould.
Awesome. Thank you, Vanessa. Really appreciate the introduction. Very kind. And also just want to thank Burnell, Francisco, and all of Invest in Newark for both your partnership and also the opportunity to come and share a little bit more about the Buy Black program. For those of you who just heard the very kind overview of my career, which you probably heard were really a few things. One is that part of my role is to help identify ways that we can leverage the Devils, the Prudential Center, and HBSE as a whole to really grow and support local minority-owned businesses, and also to connect with local community leaders like Burnell and Vanessa and Francisco and Invest in Newark. We obviously, the majority of my career before joining HBSE has been spent in the Philadelphia area, and so as I get to know Newark more, and identify different ways that we can partner with others to have an impact. I'm just really grateful to have the leadership of an organization like Invest Newark and the partnership of the organization. The whole staff has really been tremendous partners and really gracious in helping me to get to know the landscape and figuring out how we can maximize our impact. So today I am joining to really provide an overview about an exciting new program that we just launched, the Buy Black program. In hopes that a lot of folks on this call will be interested in it and will apply, and definitely want to make sure folks have all questions that they may have about the program and the opportunity answered. But also just want to provide a little bit of an overview and background about why we've launched this program, the larger commitment that we've made, and really why we're engaging in this work. So we can go to the next slide. So I wanted to put this quote in here because I really think it encapsulates a lot of the motivation behind the work that we've embarked on over the course of the last 7 or 8 months. I'll just read this. To this day, I cannot differentiate between economic problems and civil rights problems. And that is from an entrepreneur, real estate entrepreneur and civil rights activist from Chicago, whose name was Dempsey Travis. And this quote really strikes me because I think it really identifies some challenges that we still have in our society when we think about the civil rights movement back in the 50s and 60s and some of the wins that were had there around voting rights and equal treatment under the law and things of that nature. Some things that frankly weren't addressed as directly were the economic disparities and issues that were really created out of decades and centuries and generations of discrimination and segregation. And so we at HBSE recognize that and recognize that a lot of the disparities we see today in the minority business community are direct results of past practices, and we feel that it is our responsibility, both as an American company, but then also especially one that is headquartered in Newark, that has a predominantly Black population, that we're really doing our part to help to right these wrongs and figuring out how we leverage our business to address a lot of these disparities. So we can go to the next slide. And so, as I'm sure is not a surprise, following the murder of George Floyd on Memorial Day of this year, we had a lot of conversations internally at HBSE and also in our personal lives about race and structural racism and what role that really played in our industry, in our business, how it affects our players, how it affects our staff, how it affects our community. And our managing partners, Josh Harris and David Blitzer, really gave us a charge. And they said, after we put out a statement that we want to continue to engage on this issue, we want to be part of the solution, but we're not going to continue to put out statements or marketing materials or whatever it may be if we're not actually doing something meaningful about the underlying issues. And so they charged a number of us with thinking through what exactly that looked like for a company like HBSE. We wanted to be genuine and organic to who we are as a business and the things that we really do well. They didn't want to simply write a check and then sort of wash our hands of the issues. We know that, again, these issues are so long in the making that there's no one action or one thing that we can do to really be part of a longer term solution. And so what we ended up doing was we made a company-wide commitment of $20 million, and that is across all HBSE properties, including the Devils, the Prudential Center, the 76ers, and other companies within our portfolio. But we also did something that I think is even more important than that, which is and more sustainable than that, which is really thinking about how we do business and how we leverage what we do as a company for good. What you see here are just some of the initial sort of social media graphics that came out of that initial commitment. And I plucked these for a number of reasons. One is that on the left where you see the Black Lives Matter logo, or I'm sorry, graphic, is we want to be very clear that we have a tremendous platform through the New Jersey Devils. We have tremendous reach through our social and digital media channels. It's the luxury and privilege that comes with operating a professional sports team. And so we really have an opportunity to use that platform to educate our fan base about issues related to race and structural racism, and really hopefully start to build more empathy and awareness around these issues, and hopefully educate folks about why we've engaged in these matters and why they're so important to us. Fortunately, I was tapped to lead this work across the company, which I think is really important because it shows the commitment that our company has made in creating a position such as mine, that it's really one of the more senior positions at the company, and really giving myself a lot of autonomy and influence to make sure that we are doing things the right way. And then the last piece that I wanted to flag is one piece of our commitment, which I'll drill down on because it's really relevant to what we're talking about today, is investing in Black businesses. We know, as I sort of alluded to earlier, that things like lending discrimination, which kept Black business owners and families from doing things like owning homes that helps create wealth, or growing their business, was a factor that really suppressed the ability of Black businesses to start and grow. We know that government assistance programs historically have not always been accessible to Black businesses, and that's also a contributing factor to why we see the disparities that we see today. And we also know that historically, Black businesses really did not have the luxury of courting white clientele, especially if you go back into the 50s and 60s and 70s and before that. And to an extent, you still see that today, just based on the geographic segregation of where businesses are located and where certain pockets of potential customers are located. And so we know that that's also a factor in terms of the steeper hill, I would say, to climb for a lot of Black Americans and Black businesses to grow successful, sustainable businesses. And so understanding these disparities that currently exist and the factors that have created them, we really wanted to think intentionally about what are the things that HBSE does really well that we can lend to help address this issue. And one of the things that we've come up with is this Buy Black program, which we think is hopefully will be a really important tool to help grow local Black businesses within the Northern New Jersey area. We can go to the next slide. So just an overview of the program. It is any local business that is Black owned, so at least 51% of the ownership has to be Black, is eligible for this program. And really what it's designed to do is to identify 2 to 4 local businesses that become official team partners for the duration of the 2020-2021 season. These are partners like our corporate sponsors that get really hundreds of thousands of dollars of marketing assets every year from us. It's a key component of our business. We have an award-winning marketing team at the Devils. And so what we want to do is we want to take some local Black businesses who may not have had access to that level of marketing in the past and really work with them in a really intimate way to figure out ways that we can amplify and boost their business and really help them not only make it through the pandemic, because we know that Black businesses, unfortunately, on average, have been really harmed more than other demographics of business owners over the course of the past 10 months. But we also want to use this as a platform to really grow businesses and hopefully put them on a trajectory that helps them flourish even more. Now, we're hoping that we get a lot of applications for this program. Again, we're going to be selecting 2 to 4 businesses for that primary benefit, but we also wanted to make sure that we have something for everybody in terms of anybody who may want to apply to this program. So some of the benefits that anybody who applies to the program will receive are: 1, accessing to networking and speaker events that we are going to be putting together over the course of the next year. So folks will have an opportunity to hear from executives and industry leaders that hopefully will shed some light on things like how to do business with a company like HBSE and a professional sports team, hear from some successful entrepreneurs who may have navigated certain challenges that some of you all may be experiencing, and really learning from other peers as well. And then also having the opportunity to network to connect with potential clientele. Another thing that we want to be really intentional about is the fact that we're still in the midst of a pandemic right now. And we know that one of the primary avenues for relief is Payroll Protection Program funding, which a new round is currently being released and distributed. Black businesses, for a handful of reasons, were vastly underrepresented in terms of the first round of PPP. And so we are going to be partnering with Invest Newark to push out resources to help local businesses apply for PPP in hopes that helps address a lot of the barriers that some may have faced in previous instances. It's not a straightforward application process. It's rarely straightforward doing business with the federal government, but that's why I'm really grateful for Invest Newark and all the resources that Vanessa and Brunel and their team provide, because it really is critical and crucial to making sure that those that need those resources are able to access it. And then the last thing that anybody who applies for this program will receive is they will automatically be eligible and will sort of be considered a candidate for future marketing and business programs that we hope to be launching later this season. So we're still working through some things and trying to get confirmation on some potential additional benefits. And so we want to make sure that if we do have those additional benefits that we're able to offer in the future, anybody who's already come in the door through the Buy Black application process will automatically be eligible for those things. We can go to the next slide. And so just to give you an idea of what it really means to be an official team partner and to be selected for this program, as I mentioned, you will receive consultation from award-winning marketing staff. Our team is really one of the best in the business, and I would say that is really across the board at HBSE. Marketing is something that we do tremendously well. Being relatively new to the company, it's something that I've really been amazed by and really impressed with. And then as we engage with you and our marketing staff starts to understand your business, what your goals are, who your target customer base is, then we will develop a plan that will help more folks within our marketplace understand who you are, what you offer in terms of the type of business you are, and how they, and hopefully compel them to do business with you and purchase your goods or services. Now that could be anything from digital marketing through the devil's social media channels, whether that be Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, or even email blast to our listserv. We really have a tremendous fan base that we can blast your business out to. We're in season right now, and there are a lot of people who are tuning into Devils games, especially considering they can't be in arena. And so we have the ability to offer radio advertising to you during Devils games. And then for the folks who are watching on TV, we have things like signage at the game. So like the Zamboni tunnel and things like that, where we're able to use our signage and digital assets at the game to help amplify and magnify your business. So those are the types of things that we want to put together, again, to help more folks be aware of the businesses that are selected. And we hope that this is really a benefit that we can provide to local businesses that oftentimes, again, our corporate partners pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for, but we can really direct those assets and resources to local businesses who we know are doing great work and really contributing to our culture and economy, but haven't had the type of spotlight that others have had. And so we want to do our part to provide that. So applications are open through February 2nd. So I believe that's a week from tomorrow. You can apply at the website, which is over on the right, which is newjerseydevils.com/buyblack. There you will see all of the eligibility criteria, some more history, like I spoke about, to hopefully help people understand why we feel so passionately about this issue and why we've engaged on it. And the application is also on that page as well. So I won't go through the entire application right now, although I'm more than happy to answer questions about what type of information businesses should be prepared to offer, and also, you know, any of the eligibility criteria, although it's pretty straightforward. So I will pause there. I don't want to drone on too long, but I'm really grateful for the opportunity to join. Again, thank you to Francisco and Vanessa and Burnell. And really just want to take the rest of the time that we have to answer any questions that folks may have about the program.
Thank you, David. I think we really appreciate the information of the dedication that HBSE has to helping businesses through, you know, the pandemic and onward, and by making the resources available that not many small businesses have at their fingertips available to them through this program. So I think I have a couple of questions, but let's go through the questions that are in the Q&A. I'm going to read some of them out here. So will selected businesses have the opportunity to become long-term vendors of HSBE?
Yeah, no, that's
HBSE.
I still mix it up sometimes too. So it's a really good question. So one thing that wasn't in the slides, but is absolutely a priority of ours, is not only to figure out how we're, you know, donating our own marketing assets to help amplify local Black businesses, for them to do more business within our marketplace, but also for us as a company to do more business with underrepresented and underserved and disadvantaged businesses within our marketplace. So another thing that Burnell and Vanessa and Francisco and I have had conversations about is how we identify what our needs are at HBSE and match that up to some of the local businesses that may offer those goods and services. And so if there is a business that ends up getting selected through the Buy Black program that, you know, fits the type of business that we need. So, you know, I'm totally making this up right now because we're going through an internal analysis at the company to identify what those needs are in the near term, especially considering our business looks a little differently right now given the pandemic. But let's say, you know, you are a company that provides office supplies or cleaning supplies or services, or you know, is a creative firm that does signage and things like that. And those are things that we may need to purchase. If you come in and you're selected through the Buy Black program and we get to know you and there's an opportunity to do business with you, you know, that's exposure that will help put you on our radar, and we can hopefully start to figure out ways to engage. I do want to emphasize, though, that this program is not designed to identify businesses for us to do business with. So I just say that because I don't want business to feel like you have to fall into a category of somebody that we would want to purchase from in order to be eligible for this program. We have a whole separate line of work that is dedicated to that, that you will likely be hearing more about in the future. And one thing that we want to figure out how to do, for example, is how do we leverage the procurement portal that Invest Newark is putting together. In the near term, we'll probably share some opportunities with Invest Newark to get some referrals for businesses in the marketplace. So getting connected with Invest Newark is definitely a great first step in terms of figuring out how to engage with us. But you will be hearing more in the future in terms of what that would look like. But it is absolutely a goal of ours to increase the amount of business we do with local diverse businesses.
Thank you, David. In regards to the locale of businesses that can apply, is it just Newark? Is it, what other areas of New Jersey, or at least in the immediate area, are businesses eligible to apply from?
Yeah, so it is eligible to New Jersey businesses broadly. I will say one of the questions, this is actually a good lead in into one of the questions that's on the application is, we want to understand where your customer base is, or where, your target customer base is, where you may be trying to expand to. And so we are our marketing team has a ton of data in terms of the distribution of our fan base and, where our reach is. And so we are going to try to match that up. We have fans all over the state. And so if you are in New Jersey, you are eligible. We probably have a higher concentration towards the northern part of the state. But, we have our cousins, the Flyers down in Philly, who take up some of our South Jersey fan base. But we are definitely open to all New Jersey businesses. I would say it's probably a greater likelihood that businesses in the northern part of the state would be more competitive for this particular benefit.
Okay. Can any type of business apply?
Yeah, that's a good question. So any type of business can apply. You definitely need to be incorporated, and you also need to be a business. So this is not a program for nonprofits, but really the primary criteria are that you are a Black-owned business, you are in New Jersey, and that you are incorporated, because we want to make sure that's come up in some recent conversations, that we need to make sure that you are officially a business that we can contract with and engage with. And I know Vanessa has lots of programs and resources for businesses who may not be incorporated but want to start down that path.
Yes, thank you, David. Yeah, Invest Newark, we provide training for all different levels, whether you're a startup or you've been around for a year or two, or even long-standing businesses. So we definitely have programs to help businesses in all parts of their incorporation. So I have a couple more questions here specifically on the application. So
Absolutely.
I think some people may have the application open as we're talking.
Perfect.
So when you say incorporated, does that mean that it's an LLC, or is it a sole proprietorship, or what does it mean to be eligible to apply?
Yeah. So either one of those technically, would check the box of incorporated. If it is a sole proprietorship, and this is just an example of some of the things that we will be trying to understand through the application process, and I believe there are questions about this as well, is, we want to make sure that we're working with businesses that are really going to be able to take advantage of this opportunity. And so, and also, frankly, we don't want to put it in the position of being victims of their own success. And so, what I mean by that is, and I have some experience with this from my previous work at the city of Philadelphia, working with small businesses, is, if you are partnering with us and all of a sudden have access to a really broad audience and customer base that you didn't have access to before, you may see your demand ratchet up really rapidly. And that's a conversation that we're going to want to have with you. And we want to make sure that you are ready for to really take advantage and respond to that demand that's going to be created. And that's, we'll want to understand things like, if you are a consumer-based business and you're selling goods, will your inventory be able to sort of sustain that, and things like that. And those are things that I know Invest Newark also has resources to help businesses think through how to do that effectively. But we don't want to put you in a position where all of a sudden you have 1,000 orders and you're only able to fulfill 300 of them because the growth is so rapid. So just in terms of the size of business, we're open to everybody, but want to make sure that they're really sort of there's some forethought that we all put into place around how we can strategically and effectively help you grow your business.
Right. So in regards to that, so in the application, it says your background. What exactly are you looking for? How long should that information be, or what's the max?
Yeah. So I believe there are word limits on the application. I can't remember how long that question is, but we didn't want it to be overly onerous. So it doesn't need to be too long, but really what we just want to know is, what is your story? Part of this obviously is a marketing program. And so part of what our team will be doing is telling the story of your business. And we just want to know a little bit more about you. So I don't want to overprescribe that, because every business and business owner is unique and has your own sort of narrative to tell, but it's just really about us trying to get to know you a little better.
Yeah. And for a lot of businesses, you should have a business plan. And that's probably in your either executive summary or as you discuss what your business is would probably be helpful to include there. Now, a couple of questions regarding timeline. What is the timeline for selection? The applications are open through February 2nd. What time on February 2nd can people submit their applications until?
Yeah, so we will have, I believe, it's actually a good question. I want to make sure we have this on the website. I believe it'll be close of business on February 2nd. So that would be 5 p.m. Although I will check, and if we don't have that up there, we may just leave it open till midnight to make sure nobody misinterprets that and misses the opportunity. But in terms of the actual announcement and sort of selection process will probably take a few weeks. So it'll probably be most of the month of February for us to review all the applications and then select the businesses that we'll be working with. So I would say probably the last week of February at the earliest is when folks can expect to hear decisions and an announcement about who has been selected. And then from there, for the businesses that are selected, we would immediately start to have conversations and meetings between our marketing and partnership staff and the business to determine the ways that we can work together and put together a plan for them.
Okay. Yeah, that was the next question is if selected, when do you begin working with the New Jersey Devils? Because you did mention how some of the marketing opportunities for the 2021 hockey season. Mm-hmm. So when does that end? So people have a idea of, when if they'll have the opportunity to be on New Jersey Devils co-branded advertising.
Yeah. So one of the wonderful things about our team and that is really great about our company is we work pretty quickly. So I think that I don't want to put an exact timeline, but I think we'd be able to turn around some initial active sort of content or distribution activities pretty quickly after we start having conversations, once we figure out what exactly that looks like. So I'd imagine that would probably start sometime in the month of March, ideally, and then the season will go through I believe midsummer this year. It's a little different obviously because of the pandemic, so I need to confirm that. So it'll be definitely a few solid months of marketing and partnership and amplification with the Devils.
Okay. A couple more questions regarding the application. So I already asked, does it have to be a Newark-based business, or can they be located in New Jersey? Now, does the business need to be MWBE certified? So do they have to have the state certification, or how else do they present they are a Black-owned business?
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. You do not need to be certified. We know that not everybody works in an industry where certification, makes sense, or you may have incentives to become certified, or you may want to be certified, but, just have not sort of gone through the process yet. And so you do not need to be certified. If we have questions about the legitimacy, so to say, of the ownership, then we will follow up and ask for more details, but we're not going to require the certification up front to participate in the program.
Okay, great. And if anyone wants to get certified, reach out to Invest Newark. We'll help you, we'll help facilitate that for you with the city and any of the other certifying agencies like Port Authority or New Jersey Transit. Now, next question in the same lines is, I am a racial minority, but not Black. Am I eligible for this program?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So this program is specifically focused on the Black business community. We are going to have other programs and benefits that are focused on disadvantaged businesses more broadly. So there's definitely more to come on that. But this program is specifically for the Black business community, coming out of our racial equity commitment over the summer.
So would this be if you're one of the selected businesses, would this be a long-term opportunity? Is it just for the season? Is there a possibility next year?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I can't commit to next year yet. There's a lot of things that sort of need to be worked out in terms of the following season. Would definitely want to figure out ways that we would be able to equip the business to sustain the success of the marketing partnership over the course of this season. So I think we need to have conversations to figure out what that looked like. But I will say, my goal really is to figure out how we can position businesses to be, to grow and also to sustain that growth, and make sure that the business continues to be viable and strong and healthy. And so, we'll have to figure out what that looks like in the long term. But the primary and definitive benefit is for this season.
So as far as HBSE's commitment, definitely you're being thoughtful in creating the programs. Do you see that this will be an annual program?
Yeah, no, it will. So we are, this is the first annual commitment, sort of launch of the Buy Black program. As I mentioned before, really our thinking behind this is that these disparities are generations in the making, and for us doing this for one season isn't going to solve the problem. It really necessitates a more permanent commitment and long-term commitment, which is what we are doing. We also know that just what we are doing is not going to be the solution. We are, one of lots of different companies that are thinking about this. We hope that our action and hopefully the success of programs like this pushes other companies to do the same and really engage in similar ways. And so this isn't a one-time thing for us. It really is a permanent commitment.
Someone actually said they applied on Friday and they just wanted to know, would this then be like a contract for them?
Yeah,
if selected?
It's a good question. I'm sure that we will need to have some type of agreement. Candidly, I would need to speak to our legal team to understand exactly what that looked like. I know that any time that we work with any partner, there are some type of documents that need to be signed in terms of the use of Devils intellectual property and logos and things like that. So I'm sure that there will need to be some type of agreement. I don't know exactly what that consists of, but we would not be, there would be no, I want to make clear that to work with us, the business will not be paying the Devils. This is something that oftentimes our corporate partners do pay for these types of services and access to these types of marketing assets, but this is being fully donated to the selected businesses.
Now, so I just want to, remind everyone again, as we're going through this, what exactly, will occur. As you said earlier, this is a program for Black-owned businesses locally in New Jersey, but let's, today we're presenting this for Newark Black-owned businesses. 2 to 4 selected businesses will become official team partners. So if they're official team partners, will they be able to use the New Jersey Devils logo on their materials that they, as soon as they're selected?
Yeah, so we would, yes, I think we would, as we do with all our partners, need to understand sort of like the use of the logos. And this is where our marketing team comes in and is really wonderful about being creative and probably will be really helpful in helping create some of those materials that our logo will be used on. So the answer is yes, after we just have some conversations to understand what that looks like, but yes.
That's great. That's wow, that's something important that will help elevate a lot of people's marketing. And then, we also shared that all applicants will be able to receive access to networking and speaker events, resources to apply for the payroll protection program from the SBA, and also additional Devils marketing and business programs. And, I just wanted to emphasize that Invest Newark will be doing an access to capital workshop in the next few weeks, specifically because the PPP applications are open. And then we'll be working with David and the New Jersey Devils marketing team to create additional opportunities of networking and speaker events as we continue in the next few months. Now, again, some selected businesses will, they'll be able to have consultation with the marketing staff in the New Jersey Devils. And, that is usually that's an expensive expense for a business to work with a marketing agency. So this is really valuable. Like, I know we're not putting any dollar amounts connected to this program, but, working with a team like the New Jersey Devils marketing team is definitely one that is invaluable to any business. And, just having some of this media opportunities like digital marketing and radio, and also venue advertising. So many people are watching, everyone's watching the games from home. They replay different plays on YouTube, ESPN, you name it, whatever channel, sports channel, or even the news. And however, we're going to have your businesses advertising on these New Jersey Devils opportunities can hit the entire tri-state area, if not more, especially on the internet. And again, the application is available at newjerseydevils.com/buyblack. As David said, it is open through February 2nd. So that's next Tuesday. So you have another week to get the information you need to submit your application by close of business. So target 5 p.m. on next Tuesday. But if you can get it in earlier, even great. With that, I don't see any additional questions coming in. David, is there anything additional you'd like to share? I really want to say, I commend HBSE and the New Jersey Devils for bringing this program to Black-owned businesses, especially in Newark. we miss the crowds that live games and performances at the Prudential Center used to bring to Newark. So we're really happy to see that New Jersey Devils is bringing something to the small businesses of Newark, even though we can't go into the arena.
No, yeah, I think I share that eagerness, Vanessa, to get back to being able to host games and host fans, and we know all the benefits that brings to the businesses in Newark, and especially those that are around the arena. I don't have anything to add other than I just want to say thank you to everybody on the call, and especially to Invest Newark. This is one of a number of programs that we plan to be rolling out in the future. We really take this commitment seriously and are excited about hopefully helping some businesses that can really take advantage of it in the near future, and looking forward to seeing folks in person, hopefully sooner rather than later. We have the Devils. We'll get back to concerts. We have a really exciting basketball tournament with Michael B. Jordan coming next winter, the Hoop Dreams Classic that we're really pumped about. So lots more to come, but we really feel good about this being an initial first step.
Thank you, David. And, I want to close with letting everyone know that if you're looking for additional funding from federal resources, state and local, please send us an email at Invest Newark at capitalconsulting@investnewark.org. We have our staff here to help you and help you understand what's available for you and your business. Also, if you're not yet on the Invest Newark Business Directory, please do so. Add your business on there again, and also that will make you available to some of anchor businesses and larger businesses looking for services from Newark local businesses. So with that, thank you so much for joining our first and Marketing Mondays for 2021. Thank you, David. We're really happy to hear that about the New Jersey Devils Buy Black program, and we're also honored to partner with you in presenting this and the continuing programs for Newark Black-owned businesses.
100%. Thanks so much, Vanessa.
Thank you.